Welcome back. So in this video I'm going to be talking about provisioning, which is basically a fancy word for shopping. Firstly, who pays for everything? We get given funds. We have a galley card, and those funds are part of the boat's running costs. So they are allocated by the management company, and then we basically have to make sure we stay under budget. So no, the crew do not have to pay for their own food. That is covered in our package as crew. So that's all covered as part of the yearly running costs of the vessel. Guest budget. Now it depends on the yacht and what contract they signed, but typically there is no budget for guests. So obviously within reason, but they want an incredible experience. So as a chef, you do have the ability to go and buy the best quality produce and products that you can to provide that experience. So we've got two options when it comes to provisioning. You can either go do it yourself, or you can get a provisioner to do it. There are pros and cons to each. If you do it yourself, it's a lot of time, it's just a lot of work. So you've got to accommodate that in your day. You think, you are shopping for up to 26 people, 14 crew, up to 12 guests. There's a lot of food that needs to come on board, particularly if we're doing a long trip. You get to see the produce, you get to choose it with your own hands, you get to smell it, you get to really know what you're getting. However, it is very time consuming. Driving to the shops, pulling things off the shelves, going through the checkout, reloading everything into bags, driving back. So that is something that kind of can put you under the pump when you're doing it by yourself. Another con about doing it yourself is just the sheer volume that you're buying. I think my record once was about 7 or 8 trolleys worth of food. When you're in a Whole Foods and you're taking 15 dozen eggs, that's a lot of eggs. People are less than impressed, and you get a few snarky comments. Apologies to that guy I stole all the kale from in West Palm Beach. And then the other option is using a provisioner. So a provisioner is typically a company, and it is their specific job to source provisions for yachts. So they will do all the legwork, all the sourcing for us. So we send them over a list, they go do all the shopping, and then they show up to the yacht on the specific date with all your goodies in boxes, and you unpack it. Now the cons are to this is that it is more expensive. I have had provisioners that charge up to 30% extra of the final cost on top of the bill. That's pretty excessive, to be fair. Usually is more around 10%, but of course they have to make money. They're the ones putting in all the effort and sourcing. The other thing with provision is that you don't get to choose the products yourself. You can send as much information as possible. I will be crazy specific in the things that I send, but it can always be interpreted differently. I might say I want 12 pairs. However, they might have a contract with a wholesaler who will only give them pairs in trays of 24. So they won't tell me, and they'll just show up with double the amount of pairs, which is annoying, but I guess you just have to do a lot of pair-based dishes. Additionally, it is hard for me mentally switching from pounds to kilos because I have to recalculate that every time we change country. And obviously I'm not ordering the same stuff every time, so it has to change that way. All of the yachts I've worked on, every 2 or 3 months, they get a meat and seafood delivery. That goes into the freezer and that stays there and gets used over those couple of months, and then they do one big re-top up. So that saves having to constantly stock up bit by bit by bit. You just do it in one big chunk and it arrives and you pack it away. The other thing that provisioners are really good for is finding specialty products, which I know that I won't be able to get in a normal supermarket. I can tell them I want some pulbiba chili flakes, dried hibiscus flowers, Persian fairy floss. They can then go and do the legwork and find that stuff for me. Pre-delivery, Tilly and I always run down our stocks as low as possible, just to make sure that we completely start from fresh, because getting a mid-trip provision is a nightmare, because obviously stock rotation, you have to pull everything out, put the new stuff at the bottom, put the old stuff on top, and that's just a pain in my butt. So I try and avoid that as much as possible. So right now we are starting from fresh, which is a beautiful thing. We have got a delivery arriving today. It's coming from St. Martin. We have used BWA. They have sourced all the things for us, and it's coming by boat to us. We've got to offload it and then pack it away into the fridge. I'm always a bit nervous before provisions because you never really know exactly what you're getting, how good the quality is going to be. As a chef, that it can be a little bit stressful because you're relying on good quality produce to keep your guests happy. So it is always a bit of a nervous situation beforehand. We've just packed away all the provisions. Now I have to go through the packing list and make sure take note of the things that didn't arrive so that they don't charge us. And here we go. So it looks a little different now. We are absolutely chockers. Well, actually, to be fair, this isn't the most full I've had it because we don't have as many guests on this trip, but still. The light goes out if you let the door close. It's a bit scary. I was very pleased, very happy. The produce looked really good quality, it smelt ripe, it felt crisp, so all the good things. So it's put me in a good mood. My favorite favorite find was these guys. Look at these super cute little patty pan squash, little yellow ones. Just love baby veg. I think it looks great on a plate. Hi guys, so Nina's doing the dreaded job of putting the orders through. Provision! Yeah. So even though we've only just had the other order delivered, it was about 6 days ago now, I'm already working on the next order. So because it is a busy season, the provisioners have asked us that we put in our orders 10 days in advance. So I have to think ahead, think what am I going to need in 10 days time. It's usually a pretty standard order. I struggle with milk though. I always don't know how much milk to order, just because crew sometimes drink more milk and sometimes they drink less. And yeah, it's just about sort of keeping your head wrapped around it all. What's coming and what's there and what you're going to run out of. So I wanted to show you guys something. Every now and then you'll pull into a port and there will be a shop in the port which has incredible specialty produce. As a yacht chef, it's amazing to be able to go into these places and see the more unique and exotic items and be able to purchase them. So I'm going to show you one of these shops. So this is Boutique Foodland, and it's fairly new. It's incredible the amount of products they have in here and the variety. So these vinegars here, the -8 brand, are some of my favorite vinegars. Actually made from ice wine, so it's an ice vinegar. It's so beautiful. I love using it in dressings and to finish dishes. They have all different types. One of my absolute favorites is this maple vinegar. I just like sweet things. So I'm here with Jordan, who works here.
Hi.
You're the buyer. You're in charge of sourcing all these amazing things.
Exactly.
You've got some very special bread here. Tell us about this bread.
Polan. So Polan, she's a very famous, she makes one of the most famous bread that you can find. It's called Polan. She's in Paris, and she was really at the forefront of the sourdough, if you can call it the sourdough.
She was, yeah.
Now everybody in the United States is making sourdough, especially during the lockdowns.
I watched her on masterclass.
Oh, really?
I watched her sourdough and her brioche.
She has a masterclass.
Yeah, she has a masterclass. She is amazing.
That sourdough is really special, and you really can beat that. So we had the crazy idea of start bringing it by air and selling to the people here.
So you fly this bread in?
Yes, we bring it by air. So we have someone going to her bakery and they buy the bread, they put it in a box, and it ships to us.
Incredible. Amazing. I'm a yacht chef. Do you get a lot of yacht chefs in here looking for items?
Oh yeah. The difficulty we have with the yacht chefs is that they need something like this, right? So
it's true.
So the goal is to have that one product that you need and have it available right away.
Yeah.
And the goal is really to find some of those amazing products, getting out of the main lines.
Yeah, it's because I think when you find these unique products, it sets you apart because the guests have never had it before.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, ooh, what's that? And you can be like, well, I found that. Even though you're not the one that found it, you know, you're the one that found it, but still.
Hey, as long as you make your guests happy, you know, you get those brownie points. It's all we want.
If the guests are happy, I'm happy, you're happy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Exactly.
You know.
Everyone's happy. So there you have it, a little video about how we provision, fancy words shopping, provisioning. I think you can all call it provisioning if you want to sound like a yachty. You can call it provisioning. And yeah, there we go. And I also want to say I've recently reached a very exciting milestone. Literally standing here, ready for dinner service, and I checked on my YouTube dashboard and I've gone past 100,000 subscribers. Got a bit emotional, so I had to stop recording. I want to say thank you to everyone out there who's watching my videos and commenting. I love the interactions that we have and I love reading your comments. It makes me really happy to see you guys enjoying these videos. And I need to say a big thank you to Jared Watney, who I worked with a couple of years ago. He has a YouTube channel that's also yachting content related, and he was the one that encouraged me to start one. And look where it is now. Thank you, Jared. You should follow, I'll link his channel below. Lastly, I know a few people in the comments have been asking for recipes. Would love to do a recipe video, but I need some guidance. Do you want a sweet recipe? Do you want a savory recipe? Get in the comments, let me know what you want, and make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.